Hey everybody, this is Brian here, and we're going to be talking about epilepsy today. We're going to be talking about 10 seizure and aura symptoms to watch out for if you're, especially if you're a late onset epilepsy patient like I am. Like if you caught it as an adult, not really caught it because I know but you know what I mean. Um, Anyways, let's get on to number one, which is these are really the things that you can watch out for on the like most people who have epilepsy, they have the kind of like almost the seizure wheel, the seizure cycle, the auras that happen on the couple of days or or even just the day prior. You can tell like I'm having some jaw myoclonus right here right now because I'm towards the end of my seizure cycle. Um, is perhaps the best word to use for it. So number one on here, in terms of if you're ever wondering like what are the auras that I need to watch out for as a warning to like a grand mal seizure? What are the top 10 symptoms? So these are, of course, just things for me, but I'll give you about 10 or 15 ones to look out for and some ones that serve as kind of an honorable mention almost. So let's get to it. Number one on here is going to be like things like hand shaking and hand tremors. If you're, especially if you're like typing and you find your hands jittering like this, and doing this, um, I'm not doing this on purpose. So this is actually something that's happening to me right now. Put my hands down now so you don't have to just see them shaking in front of you the whole video, but you get the point. Anyways, if you see that, that might be something that means your body is leading up to a more serious seizure because those are like smaller seizures. So that's one thing that I would put as, like number one on the top 10 aura symptoms to watch out for in the days prior. Um, this is obviously not an ordered list, but you get the idea. Number two is things like insomnia or sleep inversion. I find especially that because a lot of my epilepsy symptoms happen at night, I end up, with like a lot of nightmares or a lot of kind of, I guess you'd say that things like memories that come back specifically as an aura, thoughts that I'll have just as a reminder of like I'll think of my ex girlfriend, for example, and that serves as an aura for me. Because I know that I'm about to have a seizure in the next day or so if I think of her, because I only really do anymore in the years after, pretty much, because that's about to happen to me. So I know it serves as kind of a warning. Um, Anyways, that's an unpleasant thought to bring back. So excuse me for being down for a second. Uh, Number three on here is going to be. Oh, and what I meant by sleep inversion is if you end up after you're not able to take an effective, like 8 hour sleep run through the night, then you end up sleeping naps throughout the whole day, and you end up, being someone who drinks a lot of coffee, plays a lot of video games, sleeps a lot, smokes a lot of weed, and doesn't end up very productive. Uh, it's a fun way to live, but you're not going to get you too far. Number three on here is going to be, like I got halfway through saying before I got distracted, the loss of appetite. Um, this is something I find that uh, especially when I'm getting closer to my seizures, I really don't want to eat as much as I normally do. I'll normally eat a plate or two of food for each meal, but I find myself eating only maybe about two meals and a snack and drinking a lot of water to kind of sustain myself is what I do when I'm getting a loss of appetite as a seizure symptom. It's like an aura closer to the actual greater grand mal seizure or drop attack that's usually kind of the crescendo or usually the last thing in my seizure cycle, if you will. Like I'll have a lot of absence seizures and I'll have a lot of other things that are, I guess you could say, smaller things like jaw myoclonus. But anyways, I guess the loss of appetite is something you could look out for if if you're really not able to if you're the loss of appetite, if you're not able to eat dinner like at 7 o'clock effectively as you normally would, then I would say that that's something to look out for in the next day or so, that you might be coming towards the actual greater grand mal. Number 4 on here is going to be trouble speaking, which I'm sure you've witnessed already in this video, or jaw myoclonus. These are like small seizures in the jaw that make it harder to talk. Sometimes it makes your jaw lock up a little bit. Sometimes I would say that uh, it makes it harder, especially to actually eat things, especially if you've bit your tongue recently during a seizure. But the actual jaw myoclonus is something for me that's something that's an aura that comes a lot in the morning. I find that when I wake up uh, in the day or so prior to a grand mal seizure, that I'll be having worse jaw myoclonus and worse trouble speaking, worse stutter, so to speak, than I would like 3 days after a seizure, if you know what I mean. So if there if there's 5 days in a cycle, then these three are the days right after a seizure, and these are the 2 days with the worst jaw myoclonus that are leading up to the big event. That's why I put this on this list. Number 5 is something that's pretty easy to understand, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time explaining it. But loss of balance is a pretty dangerous aura that you're going to want to watch out for, because you can get hurt from it. If you're more out of it in the days preceding a major event, then you might want to watch out for not falling and hitting your head on like a hardwood floor or a countertop. These are the kind of events that um, for example, when I had my first seizure, I lost my balance and I did actually hit my head. That's actually why I have this hat here right now. Um, but it's something that you're going to watch out for, because in the days prior to a major event, the aura symptoms can include, tripping over your own feet a little bit, or you're going to want to hold the rails on stairs extra tight. Maybe pad the uh, maybe pad the countertops, especially if they're sharp edged, and perhaps use a shower chair. I know that these things might make you feel like you're going a little too far, taking safety precautions, but think of old people, for example, how they can actually get legitimately hurt from a fall. Um, if you're falling regularly from the loss of balance that can come as a symptom from epilepsy, um, you know, you could get hurt too. And I don't want any of you guys to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt either. That's why I'm trying to take the precautions myself. Even though I'm sitting down, I'm wearing this hat. And sometimes I wear a cane. It's over there, but you get the point. Number 6 is going to be something that's a little bit more a symptom that's a little bit more something you feel than you see. If you get like a crawling feeling along like the back of your skin, like if you're laying down, and you get like this crawling feeling, like walking spider legs, kind of an electric feeling in your back or your neck, that can be something that's neurological. A neurological symptom, and it can be an aura. It can be, if that's something that happens like in a stronger degree, and it's something that you can't get rid of it by just like scratching your back or just turning over a little bit. That might mean that it's not just a standard itch. So watch out for that, because it could mean that there's something going on with the nerves in your body, or that might be um, I guess what would be the best word to say for that? They might be irritated, or they might be overactive. So that's something to watch out for in terms of seizures. Because what is a seizure but your nerves sending overactive messages? Number 7 is going to be if you can get like a rising feeling in your stomach, and this I think comes mostly from the fact that when you're having a epilepsy, you can have like your muscles tense up or tighten up. Um, that's something that's actually I think in the honorable mentions here. But if your stomach is giving you like a rising feeling, you might want to watch out, because that can actually be an aura symptom. That can be that your muscles in your lower body are tensing up, and that they're kind of giving you a squeeze, and maybe some gastric issues. Epilepsy can actually cause that, I've found. Um, so watch out with that rising feeling in the stomach. You might want to go a little bit beyond just uh, some Pepto Bismol. Try to go to bed earlier tonight and eat light for dinner. Because that can mean that something dangerous is coming. Number 8, this is a little bit more of a personal one. Um, if you have your eyes rolling around at all, like if you like for me, I have one of my eyes that you may often see kind of rolls off to the side, and kind of they get out of they're not always in sync with each other. And some people classify that as dyslexia, and I've had it classified as that before, but it usually for me seems to the symptoms in that area seem to spike in terms of them rolling backwards or rolling out of I guess sync with each other, or closing in on each other. These things seem to spike and get worse as I'm getting closer to the seizures. So I would say that they're an aura symptom to watch out for, because it's something that does seem to uh, is percolate the right word for that? Something that does seem to spike in that time period. Sorry if that was the wrong word. Um, one aura that can precede major seizure incidents is the increase in minor incidents. Things like memory lapses, things like absence seizures, or dropping things. Um, these are the kind of things that, if you're getting, like your hands shake, and you're getting your eyes rolling back, the smaller things are increasing in the amount of times that they happen in a daily basis, then that might be telling you something in terms of a grand mal seizure to watch out for. And uh, in the fact that, sorry, that we're all at risk for, SUDEP, or at least a lot of us are. My doctor told me that. Um, you want to be careful. You want to be careful and take these warnings, even if they seem like harmless, mundane kinds of things. Other things to look out for, and of course, these are more individual things. Um, they're the fact that you can have those specific thoughts that are also they're almost like aura reminders. If you have certain thoughts that tend to pop up more in the days prior to a seizure, those things can also serve as nightmares. So kind of watch out if you're having those thoughts in your sleep, because that can also be a warning too. um, Also, look out for the fact that don't eat or drink things while standing up. I would say that would be good advice, because if you drop things, you're gonna fall over on top of them. And if you have a glass, you could break that glass and fall over. You get the point. Anyways, so be careful and sit down while you're eating or drinking, because if you fall, you're going to fall face first wherever you are standing. Um, anyways, these are my tips on basically some aura symptoms that you guys might have in the days prior to an actual seizure event, like a major seizure event, the kind of minor things that lead up to it. So thank you for watching, and I hope that none of you guys really have to deal with these um, deal with these daily pains on the lead up to a greater tragedy. But anyways, seizures are a part of life for a lot of us, and I hope that you guys take the necessary precautions to lead a safe life that leads you to a successful life in spite of disabilities. I don't want anyone to live in spite of their disability. I want them to live for it and because of it, in the sense that I think that we should all see what we can do to help people and to give back to the community. Human arms just too often take from the world, and I think that we should try to give back and our unique experiences and the fact that there's things that you learn through being disabled that nobody else that's experienced that people don't get. It's like living as a poor person. It's unpleasant, but it's something where you learn things that are unique experiences, and it gives you knowledge that I think can be shared and can serve as useful advice. So thank you guys for watching. I love you guys because you're you, and peace out.